What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today we're going to be playing a little Sparrow in the duo lane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have Auto Health Potion, Ruthless, Lifesteal, Piercing Basic, Critical Hits, and lastly Healing Towers for my gems. Now for my cards I have Coin Master, Exoskeleton, Flame of Zechin, Growth Totem, Guard Piercer, Veil Stepper, Swamp Stalker, Woundseeker, Trapper, and lastly Vampiric Blade. As promised, I'm going to try to go over the deck and how I'm going to build it. Now I'm starting out with Exoskeleton just because there really isn't a 1-point card that I want. Call the Week is just meh. It's not very good anymore because it does allow you to last hit minions a little bit faster. So how I want to build is Exoskeleton into Guard Piercer, into maybe Swamp Stalker, one of those two, and then go into Trapper, pick up Woundseeker, and then lastly finish off with Vampiric Blade. Now you can throw Growth Totem on whenever you can, and Flame of Zechin, and even if you're not using Flame to secure that Prime or using it to secure Fangtooth, Flame is an awesome card because it is free and it does give you a little attack speed. So that's just kind of briefly how I'm trying to build. You know, Exoskeleton, I don't necessarily think it really belongs on ADCs anymore, but they're really, like I said, they're just not a whole lot to pick when you're in that growth. And, you know, Exoskeleton is a decent sustain card, and since we're facing off against a Yin and a Wraith, you know, hey, we probably need a little bit of sustain. Now, the reason I want to focus Trapper first is because, you know, Sparrow really gets her damage from her passive. You know, hitting those stacks and getting those stacks is absolutely huge, guys. And, you know, if you're good where you're hitting 1 or 2 hits and then it takes you a little bit or you miss the next shot, if you're only hitting, you know, 50% of your shots or maybe 75% of your shots, you're not getting the full damage you really want to with Sparrow. And so I'm one of those, you know, I just like shooting my gun or my bow in this case. So, you know, I need some help, and Trapper's a huge help with that because it will stop that hero and you'll just be able to, you know, tee off on him for a little bit. So getting Trapper online early is, you know, that's really a huge help. Now, Wraith is an absolute beast in the duo lane, you know, especially since he got this buff. I was thinking about making a video about him, and, you know, I kind of went into it, but I was like, you know, I made a Wraith video not that long ago, so I'm going to try out Sparrow, and luckily we get to face off against a Wraith. Although, I want to say Wraith is the support in this situation, but, you know, you see, hey, we pushed them back a little bit. We were able to do some damage. And this is really where it comes to, hey, I've got a real support, and they've got an ADC that's trying to support. And that's absolutely huge. You know, that is a big change. And, you know, even though Richter does have a little bit of damage, he's not being forced to back. He's going to back when he needs to, not, you know, being forced to. Now, one way you can also stack up that passive is to use that rain of arrows. And, you know, when an enemy's standing in that rain of arrows, when you start hitting them, they're going to be at, you know, close to full stacks. So throwing that down, which, you know, I don't play Sparrow all that much, guys, so I forget to do it all the time. But if you want to really get into Sparrow, guys, use that rain of arrows not to clear waves. Only, you know, in the rare circumstances, use it to clear waves. Really use it to try to get those stacks onto that enemy, and that will really allow you to start hitting that max damage right away instead of having to slowly build into it. Now, we're 5 minutes in, and it's really been, you know, just that standard laning type stuff. Push the wave, let it come back. You know, we've tried to do our best to freeze this lane, and, you know, we're getting a little poke onto the enemies, but, you know, we don't have any power. You know, right now, Richter has he's doing way more damage than I am. But, you know, we need to be there when we, you know, start to engage. And you can see here, sure enough, we're able to engage onto Yin. Unfortunately, Richter does go down. And, you know, hey, that sucks, but we're okay. You know, we've got some good bit of damage onto those enemies, and we just really got to be careful. Oh, we've had a lot of deaths in this early game. I believe the enemy team gets ahead of us by, well, I want to say 5 or 6 kills within just the first 5 or 6 minutes. And, you know, yeah, but you can definitely turn that around, guys. Just because you get some of those early game deaths doesn't mean the game's over. You know, it does allow the enemy team to get fed, but if you're feeding well or, you know, farming well, you can definitely make that comeback. Now, you see here, I go ahead and use that rain of arrows, and we're able to get some poke onto that yin. You know, it's not much, but it was enough to back her up. And, you know, Richter gets that great pull, but Wraith is, you know, he's a tricky hero. Although that rewind is on a fairly long cooldown, so you know if you rewind somebody, you could probably go in on him and finish him off. From here, I'm going to go ahead and back. You know, I've done a pretty decent job of farming, and this is going to allow me to throw on Guard Piercer and that Flame of Zechin, so, you know, I'm going to start hitting quite a bit harder, and, you know, hey, this is huge. I've got way more farm than the enemy team does, so we're definitely going to have much more of an impact when we get back to lane. Now, since we have had these few deaths, I definitely want to get back to lane, and I'm going to kind of just start pushing it instead of just really slow farming, because, you know, we have had a lot of deaths, and I want to alleviate some pressure. The enemy Grux has just been running around, running havoc on our team. So I kind of want to create some pressure, but I need to do it safely. Now, this Yin, you know, she underestimated me, and we're able to put some damage out. Now, one thing about Yin, when she uses her ultimate, you know, you can't really mess with her. And, you know, hey, she hit me with a few of my own shots, which, you know, hey, that sucks. I was really trying to get around. And our Kalari ults over, and she's able to wrap up that Yin kill, which, you know, hey, that's great. We were able to take their ADC out. Unfortunately, our steal went down again, but, you know, that's quite all right. Now, we have had a pretty good rotation from the enemy team. So, you know, we're kind of getting into a standoff. We see Grux is going back. You know, we're just kind of seeing, hey, what's going on here? But it looked like everybody kind of split up. Their Countess went back to mid, so we're going to continue pushing our lane. And since that Yin went down, since Terra went down, now's the time to really push a lane. You know, there is enemies missing. You know, Yin is going to come back eventually, but there are enemies missing out of the map, so push lanes. When you get kills, guys, that's the time to push lanes. Now, we are trying to shove this lane. We really want to get these minions in there so it'll reset this lane. And, you know, it's much easier to farm further back. Of course, being on the Dawn side or being on the Dust side, you're a little bit safer in this lane, but still, it's always nice to farm under your tower. Now, Wraith does come up to challenge a little bit, and with Yin being here, you know, hey, we have to be careful, but again, we should have more damage than both of them, as well as, you know, Richter is definitely more of a tank than both of them, so if we can make something happen, you know, that's what we want to do. And you can see Wraith he's got quite a bit of damage on him, so if we can get that Richter pull, we might be able to make something happen. Now, Richter does go in on Yin a little bit. We're able to poke her, but, you know, not major. I'm going to go back, pick up gold, and since Kalari was there, I was thinking maybe that might make them push up and play more aggressive, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted. Now, their Wraith ends up pushing up just entirely too far, and Yin just saves him with that ultimate. And, you know, hey, that's unfortunate. Our Richter did end up going down there, and, you know, hey, like I said, it's a little bit unfortunate. We're able to poke that Countess a little bit, which, you know, Countess, she hurts, guys. And then, you know, we're just gonna kind of wait for our lane to reset or push back and, you know, continue our farm. Now, the laning phase is so much longer, and this is definitely a much longer game than I'm typically playing, so I'm going to fast forward quite a bit of this laning phase just so we can get more of the in-game, and I can kind of talk about the reasons I do the things that I do, and, you know, and less about the boring stuff that, you know, hey, this is a typical laning phase. But sure enough, you know, we're just kind of doing as much poke as we can, and using that rain of arrows to zone people out if we need to, or get those stacks on them. Now, we do have a bit of a rotation from Grux, and you can see that silence on Richter. Oh, man, that saved my life, probably. But, unfortunately, you know, we're not going to be able to do anything with Grux, and, you know, that is unfortunate. Our Richter is getting low, so, you know, I want to head over and at least punish this Wraith for, going in on him. Sure enough, we're actually able to get that kill. And then, we do see Countess heading over. I'm actually completely aware Countess is over, and I'm like, hey, it's pretty early on with Kalari here. We should be able to take her out. Oh, man. This is the first time I've ran into a Countess since the update, and holy moly, she's only got one power card on, which is Mana Flow, so I'm thinking she might be sitting at a most 10 power, and oh, she just deleted me, guys. So the Countess definitely still hurts. So don't challenge Countess. Y'all saw my mistake. But we did end up having to go back to base. We needed to anyways, and we're able to put on Trapper. So hopefully Trapper will, kind of turn this around, and we'll be able to really put some pressure on these towers. We have lost our T1 in that solo lane, which, that is a bit unfortunate, and with them still, we haven't even downed a tower. We don't even have much damage on towers at this point, so hopefully we can flip this around and actually, get some damage on this tower and maybe even down it. And Trapper, I am hoping, is the key to make that happen. Now again, we're just going to do our typical laning stuff, get, the lane pushing in the right direction, and once Richter, once he grabs gets a hook, we'll definitely be able to wrap up a kill. And, we're just waiting for it to happen, and boom, he grabs that Wraith, and paired with that ultimate, hey, we're going to take him out. I do need to step around, get away from that Yin ult. Sure enough, we're able to take Wraith out. Unfortunately, Yin gets away, but that's quite alright. We took down an ADC support. Wraith is going to hurt late game, so we definitely need to get him shut down as much as possible. From here, I'm actually going to head to mid. There is an engagement going on in mid, and we're actually able to get that snipe. Hey, y'all might say that's stealing a kill, but I'm an ADC, baby, and I need to get fed. And sure enough, we're able to take her out and then go back to our lane and keep it pushing. Now, again, guys, I don't believe in kill steals, and, I think kill secure is absolutely huge, and anytime you are playing, you should try to let your ADC get kills. Getting an assist gives you just, pretty close to the same amount of gold, and I think it's absolutely important for your ADC to get fed, and you'll actually see that later game, why it's important for the ADC to get fed. Now, after we're getting those couple of kills, we're going to head to this tower, and we're actually going to down it. Now, we saw Wraith coming in behind us, but hey, we're going to take out Wraith, and, that's no problem. I'm not too worried about Wraith. And Yin ends up actually heading in, and she runs out of her little bubble, which allows me to keep her slowed, and we're actually able to take her out. And then Wraith is here, and with Kalari here, we're able to actually get enough damage on him where Richter was able to take him out, and then paired with that Kalari. And I jumped down to go, over to buy the gold buff, and I did not see Countess there. Guys, I had no idea she was there, and she just melts me. Oh, feels bad, man. Once we spawn back in, we're going to actually have to wait for our lane to push back. Kalari ends up actually pushing our lane. So, we don't have a safe place to farm at the moment. So, we're just going to kind of look around. We check out Fang, head to mid lane. You can see there's a pretty big rotation in mid lane. I'm going to back up a little bit, and then with this team collapse, with everybody showing up, we're able to do quite a bit of work to everybody. We're actually able to take out that Grux, and, we did a decent amount of damage to Terra, but unfortunately she got out. Now, Bellica chased that Countess a little bit, which, that's unfortunate, but we are able to take her out, and then Terra shows up. Terra shows up with no health at all. We're able to take her out as well, and then we end up actually wrapping up that Wraith kill. So, hey, we made some great plays, and now's the time to push. Now, if you look, our Kalari actually started backing off a little bit, and when you get kills like this, guys, make sure to push those towers. Make sure to push those objectives. Now's the time to push, and you're free to push. Sure, you can go to jungle or farm, or, you might want to secure lanes, but you're going to have, 20 uninterrupted seconds of just, being able to beat a tower to death. So definitely work on that, guys, instead of actually going to other lanes or doing anything else. When you get those kills, help out with those towers, especially if you're the jungler. Now, I did go ahead and back, and this allowed me to throw on Woundseeker. Now, Woundseeker is an absolute amazing card. If you haven't used it much yet, you know, once you get someone low, it's you one-shot low critical health people. You know, you just tear them to pieces. And, you know, right here, I can't hit Yin. You know, that Richter pull was just in range of her little vortex, whatever, the whirly circle hurricane. It was just in range of that, so I wasn't able to hit her. But, you know, hey, we ended up getting that piercing shot and taking her out. Now, from here, I'm going to rotate. You know, we've got a big presence where Steel is, and our Bellica went down. You know, so I need to rotate, and mid lane's sitting pretty good right now. But our solo lane, you know, it definitely needs some attention, so I'm going to head over there and try to at least stop that from pushing. And you can see I'm going back behind the tower, guys. I'm not running straight to Terra because Terra will be able to absolutely delete me. You know, with her stuns, you know, I'm not going to stand much of a chance. And, you know, she can even use that ultimate to negate my Trapper. So, you know, I wouldn't stand a chance, guys. So run behind the enemy, especially if you're playing a squishy hero like the ADC. Now, from here, I'm going to head to mid. You know, nothing happened. Terra backed off. Nothing happened there. So, hey, go ahead to mid. You know, continue my farm. I did pick up purple buff. So, head over to the duo lane. We can hopefully, you know, get something to happen. Sure enough, we're able to take out Yin. With Kalari being invis, you know, we have vision on them. But unfortunately, her invis ran out. And, you know, they end up getting out. No problem. Let's go ahead and get this lane set in the right direction and, you know, maybe think about going after Fang or something like that. You know, we do have their ADC down and, you know, now would be a good time for Fang. Now, sure enough, we're going to head over there, kind of get set up, and we see Grux. You know, Grux is actually heading over here as well. And so, you know, we're going to get set up to deal with Grux. And with me having Trapper on, you know, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot. But unfortunately, Countess heads over and just deletes us, guys. And, you know, that's unfortunate. Our Bellica really should have headed over or, you know, pinged it at least. But is what it is. We end up dying there. I'm going to just cut out that timer just to save a little time. Like I said, this is a longer match than I normally play. So, you know, from here, we're actually going to head back to that Raptor pit. You know, we do have a team collapse. With Grux being here and their Countess, you know, we end up, you know, focusing Countess. We're able to take her out. And then, you know, hey, we should be able to get Grux after this. And, you know, with the amount of CC, we take him out, no problem. And then instantly go after Raptor. You know, we're at the Raptor pit. We just took out, you know, their mid lane and their jungle. So their flame is down. And, you know, hey, this is absolutely huge. This is a great play for us. And this is going to allow us to pick up this Raptor, you know, pretty much for free. You know, we did get into a fight for it, but hey, you know, we ended up picking it up pretty much uncontested. Now from here we play a big run around, you know, get our farm game. You can see our Bellica's out of position a little bit, and, you know, Bellica has been, she's been struggling a little bit in that mid lane, and, you know, she is playing just a little bit too aggressive. And, you know, dealing with a Countess, especially one that has Shadow Dancer on, you know, it's pretty dangerous to really push up and, you know, get out of position when you're dealing with an enemy that can just absolutely delete you. And unfortunately, the enemy team, they were able to just shove this in, guys. And, you know, hey, there's not a whole lot we can do. Me and Richter do head over to try to deal with everything. We are able to take out Grux, but, you know, And then from here, we're going to go ahead and go in on that Countess, but I get rewound, and then, you know, Terra's here. So, you know, with Trapper, you can see the power of Trapper, guys. And we're able to take her out, but we end up going down for it. You know, we were trying our best to save that inhib. Unfortunately, it went down, or, you know, they got a team wipe right there, and we're able to take down that T1 and that mid lane inhib, which is absolutely huge. You know, that there were just a couple of bad plays there, and, you know, getting out of position and things like that, you know, it's something we all have to work on. Now, from here, you know, they ended up with that team wipe taking down 2 inhibs. And, you know, although I don't like surrendering, guys, but here lately, when they get 3 inhibs and me, personally, if we start doing the turtle shell thing, you know, if they still have inhibs up, I'm just either going to, take a step back, let them win, or just surrender, because I don't want to play 10 minutes of just, pure defense. It's not enjoyable. But I'm thinking, hey, we might be able to make a comeback from this. We just kind of have to get ready for it. Now, they did pick up Prime, and you can see we're able to just shred that Terra. And, this Countess comes in, and we're able to take Countess down as well. And you can see just that constant shooting, guys. Getting getting those roots on is absolutely huge. Now, their Wraith ends up using his backup. You see, I hit him like 10 times when he was invis. He ran that predictable path, and hey, we were able to do some work. Now, I'm trying to tell everybody, hey, go defend lanes. I'm going to push this lane. We got a team wipe. We got a prime team wipe, guys. That's a big play. But, we've got to defend because we're missing those 2 inhibs. I'm just going to push like crazy, and hopefully we can actually make something happen. And, is what it is. I thought about using my ultimate just to clear minion waves, which probably might have been a better idea, but, we're just trying to make as much progress as we can while my team defends those lanes. Grux is up, and I know he's going to head over to me. I'm trying to keep him away, but with that smash and grab, he's able to he's able to grab me and CC'd to death. And with him having green buff, I didn't even damage him. Yeah, it feels bad, man, but that was really one chance that we needed a push, but not everybody could push because lanes had to be defended. Now, from here, I'm going to head down that solo lane. I'm fast forwarding through this, but it's doing that real glitchy, freezing thing. Man, I've been experiencing that so much lately. I really hope they fix that because, it's like a solid minute of that just like constant freezing. It makes it tough to play, especially being, a hero that you actually have to aim a little bit, but it is what it is. Now, my team, they were pushing mid, and they just kind of get caught out there. And, hey, it's unfortunate. We end up getting 3 people down for none of them going down. It sucks, but is what it is. Now, Countess, she was going in for that gank, and I guess she just didn't see me. We're able to just delete her with that, 8 of the tower. And, hey, so we took out their damage dealer. That Countess is tough to deal with, guys. And especially since they buffed her. I don't know why that was. But from here, we got to play the defend game. We got to defend our lanes. We had that one lane pushing, but, with super minions, you can't set lanes anymore. You have to defend them and try to get kills and then go back and push. And I'm not saying, the game is over. Hopefully once everybody spawns back in, we can turn it around. But, it makes it very hard to have deaths, especially when you have 2 inhibs down. You definitely don't want to, you want to avoid deaths, and especially staggered deaths. Getting, picked off solo is absolutely huge when when you're in this type of situation. So definitely work on, good communication and really, try to get your lanes pushing. Of course, it's very hard to push them, so you're going to need some help. And, I'm not running that multi-shot, so I don't have quite as much lane push as, I normally would. But anytime there's a fight, you want to try to get there, and that's exactly what we do here. You see, we're absolutely able to just delete that Grux, which, Grux is their big, hero. Terra's tough to deal with, but, hopefully we can deal with her. All she's got is her AoE stun. She doesn't really have that grab feature and that grouping feature. So hopefully we can deal with her. But getting Grux down, that's huge. Now from here, again, we're just going to try to push a lane. Steel ends up staying in mid. I was going to back off and go back to my lane. But, hey, no problem. Terra comes in and you see, we're hitting her with the ult. And we're going to just, with 3 of us, she didn't stand a chance, guys. We're able to take her out. And then hopefully we can actually make some progress here in mid. But, with 2 of their heroes down, hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can make something happen. Unfortunately, our Richter goes down there. And, he is putting that pressure in that solo lane. So, hopefully it will give us, an opportunity to actually make something happen. And we are able to take out this mid lane T2, But, you know, with their team showing back up, guys, we got to get out. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to do more, but we got to get out. Now, Yin was hitting Steel in the back, so, you know, want to make sure to just chase her off. That was a very good opportunity to get an inhib, but, you know, we just didn't quite have it there. And with Steel using that ultimate, you know, we really lost that great tool to, you know, actually be able to engage on anything. So at that point, guys, you just got to back off, and hopefully something will happen, you know, later. Now, we know Steel and Countess are there in mid, but Countess probably went in Viz, so, you know, we want to head over that way. And sure enough, we can see Grux here. And, you know, hey, let's go ahead and head in on Grux. Kalari's here to help, you know, do some work. And then we can see behind us that Countess shows up along with Wraith, so we got to be careful. And, you know, Countess goes into ult Kalari. We're able to take her out. And, you know, that's huge. You know, we saved Kalari there, and we're able to take down Grux and take down Countess. But, you know, having these inhibs, you know, we've constantly got to stay vigilant on, you know, getting these lanes pushing in the right direction. And, or not even pushing in the right direction, but not pushing against us. And, you know, is what it is. Unfortunately, you know, there's really, once you get those two inhibs down, if the enemy team has an inhib up, or if they've still got them all up, you know, you can't set that lane. You constantly have to babysit it, and you see that's exactly what we're doing here. And with Yin pushing that lane, you can see how huge this minion wave is. Now from here again, you know, I'm gonna just try to get this lane pushing. Now our Steel ends up going down, and you know, that's gonna hurt because the enemy team's all up now. So, you know, that's gonna hurt. And then our Bellica ends up going down, as well as Kalari. So, and then, you know, Richter as well. So we've got, you know, it's just me. And I'm gonna head over to the inhib, but you know, there's nothing I can do. I could just, you know, run out there to die. But hey, you know, the enemy team played a great game. You know, we made some great plays there. You know, getting that awesome team kill when they had Prime. You know, that was absolutely huge. And you know, yeah, we made some pretty decent plays there, but unfortunately the enemy team was able to, you know, pull one around. But we had definitely a strong match. 17-5-12 is nothing to be sad about. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this Sparrow video. I gotta say, running Trapper on her, and especially rushing it, is so good, guys. Well, if you did enjoy, show me some love. Leave me a comment, think about subscribing, join our Discord if you haven't done it. I'd love to play with y'all. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.